Good morning, students and staff at Aldersley High School. This is Miss Bird speaking to you this morning, and I'm here to talk about the importance of reading, something which, as I'm sure you know, I am very passionate about and very excited to speak to you about this morning. Before we get started, let's talk about our Meaningful May. It's the 14th of May today, so your challenge is to show your gratitude to people who are helping to make things better. Now, that could be lots of different people, couldn't it? It could be people that are helping to make things better in our current situation. Your mind might jump straight to healthcare workers, perhaps, although there are lots of other people who are helping make our world a better place at the moment, considering the circumstances. It might be, you might look at this from a different angle. So it might be to show your gratitude to people who are perhaps helping to make your life better on a daily basis. Maybe you can show some gratitude to your parents or carers or siblings, people at home with you who are kind of keeping you upbeat. It might even be your teachers who are teaching such fantastic lessons for you. Make sure that you say your thank yous and show them the gratitude that they deserve as well. So, yesterday's challenges from Miss Bangal. The first one was to take some time out for yourself and do something that you enjoy. I really hope you did that. Please let us know on Twitter if you did something particularly fun that you want to show us. Tweet or post in your house team a message to or a picture of a young person who has inspired you with hashtag thank you. Okay, and there's lots and lots of people who that could be. So make sure you do that for us if somebody springs to mind. And then finally, obviously, to do your Meaningful May from yesterday, which was to do something to care for the natural world, such as recycle, gardening, food or water. Again, please, if you haven't already, let us know on Twitter. We would love to see some of the things that you have done so far. So today's challenges then, because our assembly is all about reading, then today's challenges are all about reading as well. So our first challenge is to read something for at least 20 minutes. It could be a book, but it doesn't even have to be a book, or it doesn't have to be fiction. It could be an article, anything that interests you at all. But whatever it is, tweet a picture of it to hashtag AHS keep reading, so that me, Miss Sini, and the rest of your teachers can kind of keep tabs on what you're reading, and it might give us some recommendations of what we should be reading as well. Your second challenge is to write a short book review, and it could be for a book that you're reading at the moment, or perhaps one that you've read whilst in lockdown, or maybe even just previously, and post it on Twitter with hashtag AHS keep reading again, just so that those book recommendations keep coming through. And then my final challenge is read to someone else. It's so important to read to other people out loud. It really, really helps your reading ability. And it's also a nice thing to do with somebody too. And it might be that you read to a younger sibling, perhaps. Maybe you read to a parent or carer. Or if you're not comfortable doing either of those, is there a family member that you can ring and read to them instead? That would be absolutely fantastic. The aim of today's assembly then is to talk to you about the benefits of reading, many of which I'm sure you already know and that we've told you about before. But I'm also going to tell you about lots of kind of different opportunities that we've put in place for you in order to help you with this during the lockdown and whilst we're not at school as well, just so that you know where everything is and how you can get involved in different challenges and competitions that are going on, because there is a lot going on at Aldersley with reading at the moment. So there's two reasons that I want to talk, or two benefits that I want to talk about today. And the first is how reading will improve your academic ability. So basically, how can reading make you smarter? Now, before I talk about how, I want to talk about the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset, which is probably something that you've come across before. I know that I've been in assemblies where teachers have been talking about the growth mindset. And the growth mindset is the idea that you can improve and that you can make yourself better than you currently are. You can challenge yourself to grow. You can improve your academic ability. Now, lots of people at our school have a fixed mindset. that means that they think that that's as good as they're ever going to get. But that's just not true. Okay, you can all grow, you can all improve. So, for instance, it doesn't matter what sets you're in at school at the moment. If you can improve and if you can challenge yourself, then you can make it to the top set if that's what you want. Now, reading is really going to help you do that, and not just with English. I'll talk about that for you now. So, the first benefit, academic benefit of reading, then, it will increase your vocabulary. So, obviously, as you are reading, you'll come across words that you don't understand, you might not even recognise them, you'll look them up, and then you'll know what they mean. Now, yes, that benefits you in English because it means that you can widen your vocabulary and show off to your English teacher with all of those fantastic new words that you know. But it means that if in other lessons as well, or just generally in life, if you come across that word again, you'll understand it. Which means that if that word came up in a science question, for instance, you would then be able to understand that question in the future. It improves your memory and focus. I don't think you need me to explain about how that will improve your academic ability in the future. When you come to do exams, whatever year you're in right now, when you come to do exams, whether they are end of year exams or whether they're your GCSEs or A-level exams, this is obviously going to improve or help you with all of your subjects, retaining that information and then being able to use it in that exam. It will strengthen your writing ability. Again, this is great for English, yes, because you need to be a good writer for English, but there are lots of subjects that you need to be a good writer for. Any subject where you have to write a longer answer, so history, geography, even science, you do longer answers, don't you? Then obviously you can incorporate these writing skills and it will improve your chance of grabbing those marks. This is, yes, for academic purposes, but also just generally, it enhances your imagination. You know, it enables you to imagine worlds and characters that aren't there right in front of you. And that can be great for a couple of reasons. It can be great for your creative writing, for instance, but it also can be great for your well-being as well. You know, being able to lose yourself in your imagination is a fantastic thing, isn't it? I'm going to talk about more about mental well-being in a second. And also, it will sharpen your mind by concentrating on the words and the storyline. It stimulates your brain, and this can sharpen your mind, particularly your concentration and your critical analysis. So, if you're one of those people that loses concentration really quickly, then the more that you can get into reading, the less of a problem that will be. And it will also improve your critical analysis, which will help things like English and history, for instance. So, in terms of your mental health, first of all, reading will lower your stress. So, the act of reading and focusing on the written word can help relieve your mind of the pressures of the day. So, it can let all of that stress melt away. If you've had a particularly stressful day, if you're a little bit het up, then take a little bit of time out, have a little read, and you'll be feeling much, much better afterwards. I do this a lot. If I've had quite a busy or stressful day, then I make sure that I do some reading, and that always makes me feel much better, and then I'm in the mood to kind of get on with my evening then. It can decrease depression. Obviously, I hope you're not somebody that struggles with depression, but many of us are. And reading, especially self-help books, but any reading, to be honest, can help ward off depressive occurrences, just like lowering your stress levels. So, you know, have a little bit of a think about that. If you are somebody that struggles with depression, can you incorporate reading into your daily routine? It boosts your sleep, so it actually is, particularly if you have a little read before you go to bed, it can help you sleep much, much better. And I know a lot of you struggle to get to sleep in the first place, so why not put your phone away when you go up to bed, don't let yourself look at it, and instead pick up a book, and I promise you that after about 20 minutes, you'll start to feel a little bit dozy, and then you'll have a much, much better sleep as well. Again, linking to lowering your stress, it helps you to enjoy your entertainment and some peace and quiet as well. Let the stress and worry melt away. Have a little bit of quiet time for yourself, especially if the weather's nice. Hopefully our weather perks up again, and you can go outside and you can, you know, read to yourself. And also, it can just brighten your day, so it can bring joy, particularly if you're reading quite a happy book and quite a funny book, perhaps. Then it'll brighten you up if you're having a stressful day. So consider that as well. So, what can you kind of go to then to help yourself with reading? Because you might be one of those people that you've got a list of books as long as your arm that you want to read, but not all of us are. So, what can we do for you? Now, first of all, the wonderful Miss Seaney has set up, and it's been up for a while now. If you haven't seen it, Aldersley Reading Twitter account. This I would highly recommend as the best thing to follow if you are wondering what to read. You can see there just a snippet of lots of tweets that teachers and students have put on with different book recommendations that they've been enjoying during lockdown. And that's what I've actually been looking at. So I've been flicking through and looking for book recommendations of my own when I've been thinking about what book to read next. And obviously, if you're still stuck, then why not message your English teacher, drop it into your English team, say, Miss, what would you, or Sir, what would you recommend? Is there anything you'd like me to read? That's something else you could do too. There is a competition going on at the moment, hashtag AHS Reading Streak, and it's all about getting a reading streak, a little bit like a Snapchat streak, and obviously, so now, however many days you've read in a row, and it doesn't matter if that's just been 15 minutes of reading, that still counts. However many days you've read in a row, make sure that you tweet at Miss Seaney, or let your English teacher know, and then you can get lots of points and perhaps some postcards for keeping up that reading. And there's also lots of things in Teams that you can make use of. So the first thing that I'd recommend is go to the Aldersley staff and students team, go to files, and there's a folder called reading. There are lots of really, really good stuff in there. So you've got your 16 before 16 challenge PowerPoint, which goes through all of the different books, tells you what they're about, and gives you loads of links to how you can read them for free if you haven't got the book at home. There's also an 18 before 18 one. This is if you really want to challenge yourself. So it's particularly aimed at A-level students or prospective A-level English students. But anybody can obviously start reading those books. I think my first recommendation off that list would be Life of Pi. So if you're going to go for anything on that list, I'd start with Life of Pi because that is just a fantastic book. Also in there you've got The Ghosts read by Miss Murray, and you've also got some links to different audio books and things like that. I've also put the link to free audio stories at the bottom of this PowerPoint as well, because Audible are offering some stories for free whilst we're in lockdown. You've also got, under Aldersley staff and students, there's a tab at the top that says Tales Read by Teachers. If you've ever fancied reading Frankenstein but you've found it a little bit challenging, then I am making my way through reading the entirety of Frankenstein for you. I have had some feedback from students who found it really useful. They've messaged me to say how much they're enjoying the story and that they're finding my explanations as I read with you quite useful. So that's worth a shot if you want to challenge yourself and read one of those classics. And also under there, Mr. Martin has dropped the Andy Serkis reading of The Hobbit. So I did I did speak about this in Teams a few days ago. The actor that played Gollum read the entirety of The Hobbit in a 10-hour sitting, and we've dropped that in there as well. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it, but you're still interested in watching it, if you've ever fancied reading The Hobbit, remember it is on our 16 before 16 challenge. You can go in there and listen to him read it because he's the best person. He does some fantastic voices. And another thing which I've also messaged you about in Teams and I just can't get over is the fact that the Wizarding World of Harry Potter is doing Harry Potter at Home. So there have been 2 readings so far at the moment of me recording this PowerPoint. Daniel Radcliffe, the actor that played Harry Potter in the films, he read chapter 1. And then, I forgot her name, Noma something I think, she's the actress that plays Hermione in the stage production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. She's actually read chapter 2 as well, and there are more coming. There's going to be lots of celebrities reading those. So if you've never read Harry Potter, or if you want to reread it, then that's a great way to listen to that. Okay, so before I go, remember, if you need to keep safe, these are all of the different people that you can email. So if you've got any worries at all, please stay in touch with us, and let any of these people know, or any of your other teachers as well. You know that you can speak to any of. And also there are other services, particularly after 4 p.m. or over the weekend. Obviously, if you really need to, please make use of any of these services too. So thank you all for listening to today's assembly. I hope you have a really, really enjoyable day. Thank you very much.